This is Mellissa Thomas for Florida National News. We are standing just outside the Valencia Ballroom in the Orange County Convention Center, where we are awaiting President Donald Trump to address the International Association of Chiefs of Police here at their annual conference. Obviously, law enforcement and President Trump have a bit of a history, but we'll hear what his remarks are to the association, and especially for the nominees for the Target IACP Police Officer of the Year. So stay tuned right here for his remarks, and also Governor Scott's remarks, because he too will be here. Stay tuned right here at FloridaNationalNews.com.
It's been a goal to make Florida the most law enforcement friendly state in the nation. Florida's at a 47-year low in our crime rate, thanks to the hard work of Florida's law enforcement. As police chiefs, you have the privilege to be in command of fine men and women who every day put their lives on the line in service to our communities and to show their heroism in the face of danger. I'd like to take a moment to bring your attention to an officer from right here in Orlando that is still battling for his life. Orlando Police Chief Kevin Valencia. Officer Valencia was shot in the line of duty in June responding to a domestic violence call and is still recovering from his very serious injuries. We continue to pray and hope everyone will pray for Officer Valencia and his family. Second, I just want to thank President Trump. As you know, we've had some horrible hurricanes in this state. We had Irma last year. President Trump couldn't have done more than what he's done. Everything I asked for, President Trump came through. FEMA worked hard. But everything I asked for, and today I spoke with him about this hurricane, and he's promised all the resources of the federal government to take care of us. President Trump's unwavering support of law enforcement shows his commitment to making sure that all of you have the support you need to do the difficult work you do each and every day. We have a president who understands the sacrifices America's law enforcement makes each and every day to protect our communities.
This year, we proudly celebrate the 125th anniversary of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. It's a great group. Today, I stand before you as President of the United States to tell you that my administration will always honor, cherish, and support the men and women in blue, and we are proud to do it. We are thrilled to be joined today by a true friend of law enforcement, Governor Rick Scott. And I will tell you that Rick has been incredible when it comes to law enforcement. Anytime you need funds from the federal government, he's on the phone. Mr. President, we need more funds. What's it for this time, Rick? It's for law enforcement. And I say, you got him. And speaking of that, oh, you got him. You got him. Thank you as well to our Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, for being here. Flew down together. The press wants to know, what did you talk about? But we had a very good talk, I will say. As Hurricane Michael nears landfall, we are working with state and local officials in Florida to take all necessary precautions, and we urge all residents to be prepared and to heed local officials. I told Rick Scott that we are ready for you. We have already briefed FEMA, and FEMA's getting prepared. I have directed the Attorney General's office to immediately go to the great city of Chicago. I've told them to work with local authorities to try to change the terrible deal the city of Chicago entered into with ACLU, which ties law enforcement's hands, and to strongly consider stop and frisk. It works, and it was meant for problems like Chicago. We believe that criminals who kill our police officers should immediately, with trial, but rapidly as possible, not 15 years later, 20 years later, get the death penalty. And importantly, we are also making sure you have the equipment you need to do the job. That's why we are allowing local police to access surplus military equipment. And we've been doing this from the very first day of my administration. We are also taking unprecedented action to help our local police fight the worst drug epidemic in our history. The opioid crisis, which took nearly 50,000 American lives last year. We have secured the most funding in history to give you the tools and resources that you need to hunt down the traffickers, stop these poisonous drugs from coming into our country, and to save American lives. In fact, Today, I'm announcing another $42.4 million for the high-intensity drug trafficking areas program to attack this epidemic. Last week, my administration also provided historic levels of funding to improve school safety. Through Stop School Violence grants, we are giving local schools and police departments the resources they need to hire more officers and train more teachers and better detect and address early warning signs of mental illness before it's too late. I've made a lot of strides in the last year.
As we all know, the opioid epidemic is affecting the entire nation. So it was definitely some good news hearing that there'll be more funding towards HIDTA, the high intensity drug trafficking area initiatives, and also school safety, which is on the forefront of everything that we do to keep our children safe. It's most important to us.
The International Association of Chief of Police Conference, the officers here, like many of our law enforcement officers, have been involved in the membership of this prestigious body for more than 20 years. And we have attended conferences throughout the United States of America and have had the opportunity to intermingle with the over now 31,000+ officers from throughout the world. As you had asked about the comments of the President, Mr. Donald Trump, he said some good things in terms of supporting law enforcement at the core. He also spoke about the opioids. You know, there's a lot of thought and effort that must continue to go into it to see if we can eradicate those issues.
Just wrapped up President Donald Trump's address with the International Association of Chiefs of Police during their annual conference here at the Convention Center. Basically, he riled up the audience, speaking of support for the law enforcement, of course, referring to them as heroes, mentioning that the United States of America is eternally grateful for their hard work. And he was very specific in terms of those who attack law enforcement. He mentioned that anyone who does that does so as an attack against the nation as a whole, which of course garnered more applause from this audience here. But more notably, he mentioned two grants that he has put in place. One that will battle the opioid crisis. He basically redirected more funds to fight the opioid crisis. And then in addition, another measure was done to increase school safety. So of course that resonated very well with the audience. But stay tuned right here at FloridaNationalNews.com for continuing information on both of those initiatives, as well as continuing coverage of our politics and power. This is Mellissa Thomas coming to you from the Orange County Convention Center.